Hello gamers and gamettes, what is going on? My name is Tanek127 and welcome back to another video. Now before we get into today's video guys, I do want to give a special thank you and a special shout out to Chromatic Games for hooking me up with a PS4 copy of Dungeon Defenders Awakened and sponsoring today's video. Now, long story short, the game has finally launched on PlayStation, meaning Dungeon Defenders Awakened is out now on Nintendo Switch, Xbox, PC, and PlayStation. But I didn't exactly need the PlayStation copy, so therefore, I'm just going to probably keep playing this on Xbox, especially since, this is where my girl plays and, most of my friends and stuff like that, and I think even my son wants to get in on it too. So I'm probably going to stick to it on Xbox. I'm going to make, a little beginner and starting out guide for you guys here today on Dungeon Defenders Awakened. Now, a big fat disclaimer I do want to give with this game is I'm no super pro expert at Dungeon Defenders. I'm still learning. That's why I'm strictly sticking to beginner tutorials to do occasionally for the time being. But if you want more advanced, in-depth stuff, there are two awesome creators that I watch for a lot of Dungeon Defenders things I think you guys should check out. One is Mr. Juicebags. If you know Dungeon Defenders, you probably know who he is. Another one is a guy named Anthem TD. Now, I've been watching a lot of his guides and stuff like that. A lot of his videos are a lot longer, but he really does give some in-depth and great information. And he's actually taught me a lot of things, even though he probably has no idea of that. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started and talk about Dungeon Defenders Awakened and what you should be doing here in the game. So, if you don't know about Dungeon Defenders Awakened by now, you have a bunch of different classes you can pick from. You have the Mecha, which is like a ranged like gun style kind of class. She kind of just works like Mega Man. I'll actually show her to you guys here. She just fires little beams out of her cannon and stuff like that. You have the Huntress, which is a bow user. You have the Monk, who is a staff user at like a healer style deal. You have the Rogue, which is strictly a DPS that does not use defenses. So keep that in mind. If you're playing a Rogue, and especially if you're playing solo, I would highly recommend leveling up another class alongside it so you can have defenses when you're doing your dungeon runs. You have the Warden, which is basically a remake of the Dryad. And then, of course, you have the Squire, your typical sword and shield using tank DPS sort of deal. Now, me personally, I main the Rogue. The Rogue is a hybrid of a sword and ranged using class, so it does have a pretty good advantage for not having defenses. But still, like I said, if you're gonna main Rogue, especially, I would highly recommend raising another class or two on top of it, just so you have those defenses to use. So, Dungeon Defenders 2 is like your typical action RPG. Your goal is real simple. Go in, run dungeons, get loot, get gear, leave, kill the boss, do it all over again. If you've played any action RPG, things like, Diablo, Path of Exile, and stuff like that, this should be nothing new to you and probably, a very simple process. Now, the good thing about Dungeon Defenders Awakened is these guys are not greedy on bag space at all. You can carry, I believe it's 500 plus items before you have to, start selling things or emptying out your inventory and stuff like that. One weird little thing with the game that I really wish they would change, but I do understand at the same time the game has a ton of loot in it. I'm talking like a Borderlands amount of style loot in this game. Is a lot of the loot, it doesn't change your cosmetic style. Now, there are different cosmetics you can grind for and things like that, and different cosmetics, you can get to change up your look and costume. Now, the weapons, they do change when you equip those. So a lot of the weapons in here are pretty cool looking. I'm not gonna lie, I've even found myself, just sticking with certain weapons for a certain period of time because of how cool they look. But this is basically, your item screen like that. Nothing too fancy here. The one thing you do want to know about this little area is this is where all your equipment is. You are going to have a headpiece, arms, chest, legs, And all of these here are going to be like accessories. And then right here at the bottom, I also want you guys to notice is they did take one little MMO feature that I really do love, and they implemented it into this game. Now, I'm not sure if this was in Dungeon Defenders 2 or not. I did look for this back when I used to play it, but I never saw it. So if I did miss it, and anyone wants to correct me on that in the comments, feel free. But they finally gave you an item level in here, an average item level. It is your power rating that you see right there at the bottom under your gear. As you guys can see, I am currently a power level of 55, and basically what this power level means is the higher it is, the stronger your equipment is and stuff like that. Now you have a nice little stat sheet over here. Now me personally, I play as a like I said, I play as the rogue, so there's not too much I want to invest in stat wise, at least for right now, besides attack and then maybe a little bit on my HP, just for extra survivability and stuff like that. But as the class gets higher leveled and more advanced, I may want to invest in other things. But with the other classes, you're going to want to dive a lot more into the stats. These two specifically I'm just using for rogue right now because, like I said, the rogue doesn't have any structures it builds or anything like that. It just simply attacks. It's a straight up damage dealer. Now, this place here is your central HUD. You can bring up to 3 other players in here with you. Dungeon Defenders is a 4-player game. This right here is the area where you go to run your campaign missions and stuff like that. Right now, there are 4 acts in the game. However, Dungeon Defenders Awaken is kind of like a retail live service thing. Basically, how the game's working is they launch it. I think they have a few microtransactions for sale, like a few outfits and things like that that you can buy out of the Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch store and PC. But basically, you have 4 different acts right now. Every time they release new content for the game, a new act comes out that brings new levels, new bosses, another encore, which is basically the wrap up of that current act, new gear, and I'm not sure if the level cap increases every time they release a new act or not. I'm not too sure about that. But now that the PlayStation version is out there and they have the game launched on all platforms, they're probably going to be getting content out for this game a lot more quickly. But your main thing you want to start off with probably in this game is starting on easy or medium. I would say personally, go with medium, or even if you're feeling a bit confident, dive into hard a little bit and just run yourself through the campaign. Get yourself all the way down to Act 4 and finish its encore and stuff like that, and then start working on things like survival and stuff to get yourself leveled and work on endgame and get yourself into some of those rifted runs and stuff like that. Now, I'm not going to dive too much into there because, like I said, guys, this is strictly just a guide to point people into like beginners and stuff like that, just starting out. Just want to keep things real basic and simple. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this little guide up here. Y'all enjoyed today's video, smash that like button. If you want to see more Dungeon Defenders content from me here on the channel, let me know down in the comments below. Do you feel like I missed anything really important for beginners starting out in Dungeon Defenders? Also, feel free to let me know down in the comments. But anyway, guys, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out. Have a good one.